I saw him kneeling in the dirt, crying like a child. It was shocking to see a man so rich, so powerful, broken like that. That's how it all began, or maybe, that's when people finally started noticing. The son of Chief Ogund, Eo, was known for his pride. He was the kind of man who walked through the market and expected the vendors to bow. And they did, because who wouldn't? His father owned half the land in our village, and the other half was trying to borrow money from him. Then there was Abike, the widow's daughter. Quiet, hardworking, and always dressed in the same faded wrapper and blouse. Her mother sold roasted plantains by the roadside, and Abike helped her. After school, she was the kind of girl you'd pass by without a second glance unless you knew her story. Her father had died when she was 7, leaving them with nothing but debts. Since then, they scraped by on whatever they could earn. No one could have imagined the paths of these two crossing. But love doesn't ask for permission. It just happens. It all started when Eo's car broke down one rainy evening. The fancy Jeep he always drove stood right in front of Abike's house. His driver had gone to the village to fetch a mechanic, leaving Eo stranded in the rain. That's when Abike's mother called out, "Come inside before you catch your death." He hesitated, probably thinking he was too important to step into a poor widow's home, but the rain was too heavy. He ducked inside. Abike was there, sweeping the floor. She looked up, saw him, and nodded. That was it, no bowing, no scraping, just a simple acknowledgement. Eo, who was used to people fawning over him, was taken aback. I wasn't there that night, but I heard the story later. They say Abike offered him some of the roasted plantains her mother was selling, and Eo, for the first time in his life, ate food not served on a silver plate. He said it was the sweetest thing he'd ever tasted. They talked. Just small talk, but it was enough. Something sparked. Over the next few weeks, Eo found excuses to visit that road. He said he wanted to taste the roasted plantains again, but everyone knew it wasn't about the food. He was falling for Abike. At first, she resisted. She knew the difference between their words. "What will your people say?" she asked him one day when he confessed his feelings. But Eo didn't care. Or at least, he thought he didn't. When his parents found out, all hell broke loose. Chief Ogund stormed into Abike's house, threatening to destroy her family if she didn't leave his son alone. "Do you think you're fit for my son?" he roared, his voice shaking the walls. Abike's mother knelt and begged, but Abike didn't flinch. She just stood there, silent, her eyes locked on the chief. Eo was furious when he heard what his father had done. He confronted him, saying, "You have no right to choose who I love." But the chief laughed in his face. "You think love puts food on the table? You will marry a woman of your status, or you will be nothing." For months, it was a battle. Eo's family tried to bribe Abike's mother to send her daughter away. They spread rumors about her, calling her a gold digger. But Abike stood firm. She didn't fight back, she just kept living her life, helping her mother, and ignoring the whispers. In the end, Eo had to choose. And that's when I saw him, kneeling in the dirt in front of Abike's house, begging her to run away with him. "I can't live without you," he said, tears streaming down his face. "Even if it means leaving everything behind." Abike looked at him for a long time. Then she said, "If you leave your family, you will hate me one day." "Love is not enough, Eo." He didn't listen. He left everything, his family, his wealth, his name, and started a new life with her. They moved to another village where no one knew them. He worked as a farmer, and she continued selling plantains. They were poor, but they were happy, or so it seemed. I heard that years later, when Eo's father was on his deathbed, he sent for them. He wanted to make peace. Eo forgave him, but he never went back to the life he left behind. He said he'd found something more valuable than all the riches in the world. I don't know if their love story was perfect, but it was real. And sometimes, that's enough.